Last season, the NBA scoring champ had a game where 60% of his points came from free throws alone. That's more than half of his points coming from the line. Now everyone's calling SGA the free throw merchant, but I wanted to find out the truth for myself. So I removed every single free throw SGA made last season from his scoring total to see where he ranks among other players in the league. The results not only shocked me, but will completely reshape the way you think of SGA. But first, let me show you how down bad SGA is for the free throw line. Throughout his entire regular season career, SGA has scored a quarter of all his points from the line. Now you might be thinking 25% doesn't sound too crazy, until you look at players like LeBron, who only got 19% of his career points from free throws, and Steph Curry, who got a measly 16% of his from the line. But it gets worse. That 60% free throw game I mentioned earlier was against the Wizards. Looking at the box score, you see SGA had a stellar game with 27 points, but 16 of them were from free throws. Oh, and by the way, this wasn't a fluke. He had another 3 games where he got more than half of his points from the line. But after some deep research, I found other players in the league who rely on the line more. But when you're getting a quarter of your points from free throws, and you lead the league in them for 3 straight years, we need to ask, is SGA as good as his scoring numbers suggest? Or is he really good at getting foul calls? So I kept digging into SGA's career, and that's where I found the one season that explained everything about SGA's free throw hunting. See, SGA wasn't always like this. When I looked at his first 2 seasons, this dude was averaging just 2 to 5 free throws a game. He was just a rookie player trying to find his role. But then a switch flipped in 2023 that would change his career forever. That was the first year he led the league in free throws. And when I compared his stats from the prior year, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. His field goal attempts went up by 3 per game. His 2-point attempts up. His 3-point attempts actually went down, but his free throw attempts, they exploded from 7 to almost 11 per game. Think about this for a second. That season, for every 1 extra shot SGA took on the floor, he found a way to get 2 extra free throws. He figured out the cheat code. You see, while the rest of the league was falling in love with the 3-ball, SGA went the opposite direction. Stick to the mid-range, attack the paint, draw fouls, and it worked. SGA became an all-star for the first time in his career that season. The only problem though was, even with all that success, his team still missed the playoffs that year. They fell 2 games short, but SGA had tasted what this strategy could do for his career. And when he finally started making deep playoff runs, that's when things got controversial, and it wouldn't go unnoticed.
Minnesota needed some size here for the final minute 40. Josh Minot.
It's a reason NBA Twitter likes to call him the free throw merchant, Mike.
Heck, even Doris Burke tried to pin it on the internet to mask how she felt about SGA. Remember those free throw numbers that were pretty high in the regular season? Well, they got even higher in the playoffs. We already saw how on average SGA gets about 25% of his points from free throws, but in the playoffs, that number grew each round and jumped to 30% in the NBA Finals. And that's when the real backlash started. Just imagine your team battling on the biggest stage, and the other team's star gets a nice little coffee break and trip to the free throw line.
I've shot more free throws in a season than I did this season. I think because we're on the top of everyone's radar, it's a little bit more noticeable, and now people care about it.
Even though fans were enraged, SGA cooked up nothing new. This was the same strat he had, except it was on display for the big stage. He doubled down and stuck to what was working for him in the paint and by the left baseline, because either he was going to make the shot or someone was going to bite. And unfortunately, it's gonna usually be called a foul. So did SGA master a strat, or is he really just another free throw merchant? And with that, I start by removing all his free throws. Remember, SGA was the scoring champ last season, and it wasn't even close. He had 300 more points than Ant-Man, who placed second, but when I remove all 601 of his free throws from his season total, SGA drops to 7th place. Now 7th is still elite, that's still top 10 in the entire league. But we're not done yet. See, total points can be misleading because of games missed, injuries, and whatnot. So I wanted to look at per game averages to get the real picture. When I remove his free throw makes per game from his scoring average, he falls from 1st to 11th in points per game, still damn near top 10. But here's where it gets interesting. No MVP averages 0 free throws in the league. That's just not how basketball works. So I gave SGA the league average, 4.5 free throws made per game. And so now after subtracting that number from his points per game, SGA dropped down only 3 spots to 4th in PPG last season. Still ahead of Anthony Edwards, still ahead of Jason Tatum, and still ahead of Kevin Durant. Look, I came into this thinking I might expose SGA, but when a player can lose a quarter of his scoring and still finish top 5, I'd say that's pretty damn elite. But I'm not done yet, because there's something else I discovered that's going to blow your mind about who the real free throw merchants are. See, when your team is winning championships, everyone's watching. Every call gets scrutinized. Every foul becomes a controversy. But while everyone's focused on SGA, the real free throw merchants are flying under the radar. Remember how I said SGA led the league in free throws for 3 straight years? Well, I didn't tell you who led the league in free throw attempts for those same 3 years, because that would be Giannis. And if we're talking about the most free throw attempts per game in NBA history, well, that crown belongs to Joel Embiid. Let me put this in perspective. If you ranked every player in NBA history by free throw attempts per game, you'd have to scroll past Harden, past Kobe, past Michael Jordan, before you even get to SGA, who's 21st on the list. Joel Embiid gets 30% of his points from free throws. Harden's pretty much the same, both higher than SGA. So why does SGA get more hate than guys who are literally more dependent on free throws? Well, it's simple. He's better at making them. It's clearer than ever when we compare free throw efficiency to free throw dependency. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of players who rely on getting to the free throw line more than SGA. It's just that SGA is a much better shooter. And if we're going based off just 2025 alone, SGA shot 90% from the line. When you're that automatic from the stripe, every foul call turns into an automatic 2 points. The truth is, SGA isn't the biggest free throw merchant in the league. He's just the most efficient one. He just became the villain that perfected the thing that everyone already hated about modern basketball.